if you're not watching Invincible, you should, because it's actually one of the few good shows that the West is putting out right now. And if you want to know what it is without any major spoilers, think about Superman and Justice League, but one episode, Superman decides to murder the entire Justice League, and then you're left with the mystery of why did he do that and what's going to happen next. So it's pretty much like The Boys if it wasn't so cynical. Really great. It's also made by the same creators, I understand, of the Walking Dead comic, so it's quite good. Surprisingly, it's not only just not woke, but it has a couple of scenes that it makes fun of wokedom. Like there's this evil doctor, and he's incredibly stupid. So the heroes ask him, it's like, why are you so stupid? I thought you were a doctor. And he's like, I have a PhD in gender studies with a master degrees in lesbian dancing or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. So I found it really hilarious, like he tries to destroy capitalism, he's trying to destroy the world. It's kind of rare to see a jab at woke culture from a mainstream TV show, right? That's why I'm fascinated. Like, if all the TV shows would just take jabs at woke culture, I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. It's just boring. But because this is like one of the only ones that I can think of doing it, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, fine. But my point is that it's not woke, right? And because it's not woke, it's getting attacked by the media, right? Like, a lot of journalists are attacking the fans in order to try to rail the show back on the right tracks, I guess, and get it back into the fold. So here's something interesting you get from the Mary Sue, that people seem to dislike Amber, and it is typical for the fandom. Yeah, and goddamn pay piggies disliking characters. Why can't they just shut up and pay money and be quiet while the corporation lectures them about things? Now, the interesting part is that Amber is the romantic relationship for the main character. And I can't say that I disliked her, but she's definitely forgettable. Like, I didn't even remember her name. That's how forgettable she is, because there's not much that she does that's exciting. And of course, like, the journalists are trying to say, oh, it's because she's black. It's because she's black. No, it's because she's a lame character. Like, she's really boring. And the reason that she's boring is because I firmly believe the West doesn't know how to do romance anymore. Anime does really great romance. I mean, Rental Girlfriend is an example that I keep giving because it's an excellent show featuring romance. The West used to know how to make romance. If you look at Walt Disney, they make really great romance that both men and women enjoy. Beauty and the Beast, Pocahontas, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, there's a lot of really good Walt Disney stuff. My personal favorite is, I forgot the name, but it's the one with Rasputin. It's got really, really great romantic shows. And the West used to understand romance, but when you look at Invincible, I just don't feel any connection between her and the main character. Like, she doesn't do anything to support the main character. The only thing that she is, I guess, is providing sexual pleasure for the main character, which is a teenager. Because that's literally it. Like, all the scenes where they're doing romantic stuff, it's them making out, them kissing, them hug, them touching each other. Like, that is what I guess the creators of Invincible understand by romance nowadays. There is no struggle that the main character has to go through in order to get her attention. There is no struggle that she has to go through in order to get their relationships to another level. Like, all she does is whine and complain. So, yeah, I don't really understand why I would like her as a character. But when I see this, I actually started disliking her, because now that I'm reading this article, and I'm going to go into a little bit of a spoiler, right? If you're interested into the romantic part of this, but I don't know anyone who watches Invisible for the romance, right? So here's the spoiler. If you're interested in the romantic aspect, then stop watching here. If you're not interested in the romantic side plot, then keep watching. At one point, like she discovers that he is a superhero, right? And this is like the boring trope that you see in a lot of superhero movies where the superhero is dating someone and he's always late because he's trying to save the world. He's always breaking promises. And this puts a strain to their relationship. But eventually, the superhero comes up and goes like, hey, look, I'm Spider-Man, or hey, look, I'm Superman. And, usually the girl goes, oh my God, and they fall in love, right? But I guess like this is subverting the expectation because when the superhero goes, it's like, hey, I'm invincible. And it's like, oh yeah, I knew, duh. But I still don't like you because you don't put me first. So this person is someone that is so selfish, is someone that is so self-centered that she is upset that her boyfriend is out there saving people, like rescuing people. And she's like, meh, I don't want that. I want to be number one. I want to be the first. But throughout the entire season, she doesn't do anything that would deserve her being placed as the first. Like, she's not contributing anything to the relationship other than her body. Like she's giving her body up. It's like, okay, you can touch my titties. And that is her contribution to the relationship. But, I mean, Invincible also contributes that and more. I mean, he's got superpowers. He saved her life. He saves other people. He's got like the security aspect, like nobody's going to harm her, because like that's why she fell in love with him, because apparently like he stood up to a bully. And it's like the reason people don't like her isn't because she's black. Okay, like there's other black characters that people like. There's other people of color that people like. This isn't it, Chief. Like this is a very boring character written by people who don't understand romance, who really don't get it. Like for them, a romantic aspect is carnal pleasure, which, don't get me wrong, might make for a really good video on Pornhub, but it's not something that captivates audience and gets people emotionally invested. And the fact that you're defending this is bizarre. And they go on, it's like, oh yes, well, she's such a strong woman because she understands her self-importance. It's like, yeah, she understands her self-importance, and if it was up to her, the superhero would be with her and other people would literally die. Right? So I guess like the correct way of liking people of color, according to the Mary Sue, is if people of color take away the savior from other people. Yeah, like how many people of color would have died if Invincible would have allowed the aliens to invade Earth, for example, or if he would have allowed any number of threats from destroying the city. I just like, my God, it really shows the ideology of social justice and why people don't like it when they see it in comic books. It's because it destroys the superheroes. It makes them be self-centered. It makes them stop caring about other people. It removed the idea of self-sacrifice as a good thing. And you end up with this selfishness, carnal pleasure, I guess, based characters that it's not that they're not relatable, but really they're villains if you think about it. I mean, this is literally the villain from the Powerpuff Girls, Sedusa, which seduces the professor and tries to get him to ground the Powerpuff Girls so they don't go out fighting crime, so that villains can do crime. It's really that character. So you get like these evil characters being stuffed down your throat, like Skylar from Breaking Bad. There is a reason why people disliked her, and it wasn't because she's a woman. It's because she was constantly making Walt feel like he's not good enough, like he's not providing for the family. And when Walt comes out and says, hey, you know what? I got cancer. She's like, oh, how dare you not tell me about this? How dare you not try to get treatment for this? How dare you leave me alone with kids and blah, blah, blah. Like, literally, when she found out that Walt has cancer, the entire episode, she was like, me. And it's like, why not ask Walt what he thinks about it? Why not try to at least ask the patient how he feels about the issue? But no, like the entire time she was just like me, myself, and I. And people do not enjoy these types of characters. People do not like or appreciate egotistical and narcissistic characters, whether they're men or women. So that is why people didn't like Skylar from Breaking Bad, and this is why people don't like this chica and any other superhero that they're going to create, which places themselves first and makes it all about them. This narcissistic worldview that I kind of understand why they keep appearing in comic books, because a lot of these superheroes are usually self-insert by the writers, and especially like the social justice activists who are narcissistic themselves. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment sections.